Meantime, the federal court has rejected an urgent application to overturn the India travel ban. 9,500 Australians who are stranded there will not be able to return until after it is repealed. Justice Thomas Thorley declined to make orders after hearing the first half of the challenge brought forward by 73-year-old Gary Newman. He's been stranded in Bangalore since March of 2020. Join me live now is Marque Lawyers Managing Partner Michael Bradley. Michael, thanks for your time. Have you lost this case or do you still have hope?
Well, yesterday's result was disappointing, obviously, for us. However, the case is not necessarily over. There's some decisions to be made with respect to the possibility of an urgent appeal and also the constitutional issues which were not dealt with yesterday. They still remain live.
What arguments do you still have up your sleeve?
Well, there are two constitutional issues. One is the existence of an implied right to return home that attaches to citizenship. Yesterday, the judge accepted that that right exists at common law, and so that's an important principle to establish. However, we say that it actually sits more deeply in the Constitution itself, and if that's right, then that overrides the powers in the Biosecurity Act. And then there's also an issue about whether the Constitution actually gives the Commonwealth the power to take away the right to return altogether, which we struggle to find in the Constitution. So there's still obviously quite important issues, particularly given that the overarching question of the minister's power to prevent citizens from returning home, which was obviously an unprecedented move, that's still a live question and is still open to the government to try again. I think it's in everyone's interest that there's a sort of a final resolution to that question.
Michael, is it essentially the argument that the Biosecurity Act shouldn't be able to supersede the Constitution?
Well, it can't. I mean, no legislation can supersede the Constitution. So if we're right on either of the constitutional arguments, then it wouldn't matter what the Biosecurity Act said. So, it still leaves things in a bit of a state of uncertainty from a legal perspective. But, the practical consequence of that, of course, is that it leaves all Australian citizens uncertain of what their rights are.
Indeed. Michael, one final question. It is just 4 days until this ban is lifted. It's going to take months and months for people to get home, though, and the federal government has hinted that if it needs to again, it will ban citizens again. So is that the point here? Not just the time frame, but trying to prevent this in the future?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, this is it's an issue of far-reaching significance. The Commonwealth, for the minister's lawyers yesterday, argued that the power that Greg Hunt used in the Biosecurity Act is a bulldozer provision. It overrides everything. And the judge, so far as the issues that were determined yesterday, agreed that this is an extraordinary set of powers. I don't think prior to this decision by the minister, many Australian citizens would have thought that our government had the ability to prevent us exercising the fundamental right to come home. They certainly haven't said that they won't use it again. In fact, they've hinted that they will if they have to. I think we'd all like to know, is that right? Because it changes how we think about our relationship to our country as citizens.
Indeed. Michael Bradley will be watching very closely. Thanks so much for your time.
It's a pleasure.